The A game is back once again, and boy, do we have a packed show for you this week. Football lost in overtime, but it was a thrilling game nonetheless.
If you thought that game was a thriller, wait till you see what the volleyball team did yesterday. They won, and not to give it away, but you definitely don't want to miss that either.
We have another Q&A game for you as well. Desmond Reed is here in-house. We have info on the football recruitment staff. It's a packed show, and it all starts now on the A game.
We begin the show with football from the weekend, and although it was a thrilling game that went into double overtime, the Mountaineers lost to the Minutemen of UMass 30-27. Senior linebacker Eric Boggs had himself a day, however, with 15 tackles, 1 sack, 1 pick, 1 forced fumble, and 2 pass breakups. But he was not alone. Defensive end T. Sims tallied 3 sacks in the game, marking the most for an App State defender since 2015. The offense got itself going in the second quarter with Taylor Lamb rushing for a 15-yard touchdown with 13 minutes left in the half, and a second touchdown pass to freshman receiver Thomas Hennigan. The Abs had the lead going into the final seconds of the fourth quarter after kicker Chandler Stanton put the team up 20-17. UMass would tie up with a field goal as time expired to tie the game at 20 to force overtime. In overtime, UMass would get into the end zone on their 4th play on offense, and App would respond with a touchdown pass from Lamb to Ike Lewis to tie the game back up at 27. App State would fumble the ball on their next possession, allowing the Minutemen to kick a game-winning field goal. Because of injuries, the Apps had to play several backups in the game, but head coach Scott Satterfield said that despite the loss, seeing those players step up in key roles was big for this team moving forward.
Well, I believe in those guys. I believe in all our freshmen. We're playing a bunch of freshmen right now, and we count on those guys to make plays just like we do everybody else. And Daytrick and Marcus Williams Jr., those 2 freshman running backs, they played hard.
It's demoralizing, but at the same time, we got another opportunity next week to come back and get better from what we did bad today.
Rolling right along now, we've got our A-game college football analyst in here in studio once again, Desmond Reed. He's here with us to break down UMass versus App State, in which they did, of course, lose 30-27 over the weekend in overtime. And this seems to be a recurring issue for this team. They have edged out a couple of those wins in the past weeks, but this one seemed to be like, this team, they understand the problems that they have, but they're just not able to fix them, or they can fix them to a degree, but they're not totally fixed. And they keep having these same problems come up once again. And here it is, another loss. This is a non-conference loss, so it's not a big deal in conference. Are you concerned with this team now? How concerning is this to you? Are they just kind of like spinning their wheels, stuck in a mud puddle here?
It's not really more of a concern. It's more like a sense of urgency. You lost a game that you should have won in the middle of the season, so now you have to go back on the road and play a team, a conference game, and a team that you beaten, over the previous year. So it's definitely a sense of urgency. I expect, the offense to come out on the road, throwing the ball down the field, defense still lights out like it was last game. A few miscues here and there, but, they still did pretty well. So I feel like more of a sense of urgency than being worried.
So did you sense that sense of urgency in practice on Sunday?
Oh, of course. I feel like, they came back ready to work like always, running to the ball, defense, offense. Of course, they're correcting all the things that, went wrong Saturday. So next Saturday, it won't happen again.
This team seems to be able to pull running backs out of their back pocket.
Right.
Like last year when Marcus Cox get hurt, they bring in Jalen Moore out of nowhere. And then now that Jalen Moore's hurt, Terrence Upshaw's hurt, well, here comes Marcus Williams Jr. out of nowhere, ran for 125 yards yesterday. They did lose yesterday, but there were some pretty good performances from a couple other players as well. But how about Marcus Williams Jr., man? Where did this come from?
Oh, man, Marcus Jr., he's a great runner. Coach Holt and Coach Satin, they do a great job with their running backs and rotating them in, keeping them fresh. But, no, he's been running like that. Going against a defense like App has every week and almost 2 years in camp. So, going against a defense like that every day, it gets you prepared for whenever your number's called. So yeah, he definitely stepped up and did his thing, and I'm sure that he's gonna get a lot more touches throughout the season.
So there were a couple other players, even though it was a loss, that did play well in the game. And we're going to introduce a new segment here on this segment we do with Desmond Reed. We're going to call it the Secure the Bag. And I'm going to ask you this. So Marcus Williams, 125 yards, but who else on this team stood out to you? Who secured their bag? Who played well on the field for App State?
Oh, well, you definitely have to say Marcus Jr. as well. Yeah, he probably didn't score a touchdown, but he established a running game for the Mountaineers, and he did a great job for him, stepping up and filling in from a big role in Jalen Moore on and Terrence Upshaw out. So you definitely have to give him one. But also Eric Boggs, 15 tackles. I think he had an interception and a forced fumble. So he had a tremendous game. And also Antonio Sims, number 42. He 3 sacks, forced fumble, and a front recovery. So they both went out there and gave it their all for App, and a lot of other players did, but those three, they really did stand out.
So non-conference game, as I mentioned, they've got Louisiana Monroe coming up this week on the road once again. Is this loss? I know you've already talked a little about it, but is this frustrating? I know it's a non-conference game, but do they learn from this? Is it a frustrating loss? How heavy on their heart does this hang?
I mean, it's definitely a learning experience. Playing Georgia, you lost, and then you come, against Wake, and you lose a tight one like that. Then you lose another tight one, in overtime in UMass. So, I mean, it's definitely like, hey, we really want to, trying to close out these tight games like we've been doing against other teams, but also against the non-conference games. Those are, pretty great as far as, putting yourself out there nationally wise. So I feel like, they'll bounce back, shake it off. I feel as, they're a mature team, and I feel they can still come out and still finish and win a conference.
Yeah, so you see this team every week. You're there for practice. You get the inside scoop for us and give us the inside that we don't have from the outside looking in. And hopefully that they can turn this thing around, because it is midseason. They are still 4-0 in the Sun Belt Conference. They do play Louisiana Monroe this weekend. They are 3-3. That'll be on the road once again. So we'll look forward to that. We'll have you back in studio once again to break down that hopeful win against Louisiana Monroe. And, of course, we got lots more coming up here on the A-Game. Your favorite segment, the Q&A game's up next. We got volleyball highlights from their win on the weekend and Player of the Week. It has to do with football, so stay tuned.
Ballerina.
Sometimes all it takes to be a dad is remembering how to be a kid again. Take time to be a dad today.
The men's soccer team was on the road this past Saturday at Coastal Carolina University. The Mountaineers had 2 shots on goal, but in the end suffered a tough loss of 4-0 to the Chanticleers. Coastal Carolina scored 2 goals in each half of the game. The 2 shots on goal for the Mountaineers came from Raheem Summersall and Parker Washburn. Keeper Jake Agnew played for 69 minutes in his 4th start of the season, with Mitch Kilmer coming in for the remaining 21 minutes and securing 1 save for the Mountaineers. The Mountaineers will take on rival Georgia Southern at Ted Mackerel Soccer Complex this Saturday, November 4th for Senior Day. The Mountaineers will look to make a comeback for their last regular home game of the season.
The field hockey team took on American University Sunday at home for Senior Day. And before the game, all the seniors for the field hockey team were honored. Reporter Jacob Turner was at the match Sunday and has a recap from the snowy Brandon and Erica M. Adcock Field.
The Appalachian State field hockey team dropped a heartbreaking 3-2 loss in overtime to American University in a cold and snowy day in Boone, North Carolina. Melissa Noble and Michelle Taylor grabbed the goals in regulation for the Mountaineers before Nora Conan got the winner for American with just under 5 seconds left in overtime. The Mountaineers next weekend will now travel to the MAC Conference Tournament in hopes of capturing a conference title. For the A game, I'm Jacob Turner.
It was a good weekend for the volleyball team at Holmes Convocation Center. The Black and Gold took South Alabama to 5 sets on Friday, despite ending in a loss. Melissa McMath had another strong performance with 18 kills on the day, and setter Ashlyn Brown tallied an outstanding 48 assists. That's double what the South Alabama setter had on the day. Troy came into Boone on Sunday for Senior Day, and despite going down 2-1, the Mountaineers came back and won 3-2 to give the seniors a great end to the season. The Mountaineers battled through all 5 sets, with senior Courtney Sullivan having a good game on the net. Sophomore Emma Longley was able to play for the first time since her injury in the UNC Wilmington tournament. In each set, it would take the team going back and forth and going on a couple runs to get the win. Grace Morrison had her standout performance with 19 kills, along with Courtney Sullivan getting 12. Ashlyn Brown finished her day with 47 assists and 16 digs. This win helps the team's bid for the Sun Belt tournament. George Stonecipher was at the game yesterday and has more from Holmes Convocation Center.
Today was Senior Day here at Holmes Convocation Center as the women's volleyball team said goodbye to its seniors and took on conference foe Troy with postseason implications in play. Coach Ginapro was extremely proud of his team today as they were finally able to put one together for all 5 sets and come away with a W.
We hit pretty well today. You know, Mel struggled at the end, and then that's when we put Emma in. Emma clearly came off the bench on fire. She hit 500. But that's what we've been missing all year is Emma Longley on the left, and that kind of gives everybody a glimpse of what she can do as a player when she's on the court. So crossing our fingers, we'll keep her healthy, and she'll be able to be on the court for as long as we can have her.
It was great. I love playing with all of them. I love the energy on the bench and the energy on the court, and just being able to turn back into them after a point or two. It's just the greatest feeling ever.
She's something special out there. Playing with her as a teammate, she brings just something special to the court.
The volleyball team is in action again on Friday as they go to Georgia Southern. Reporting for the A game and AppTV, I'm George Stonecipher.
For this week's segment of the Q&A game, we decided to ask students on campus about the crazy weather we had in Boone last week. It may have you questioning, because it certainly did me and Ashley, whether you prefer cold or the rain weather better. Take a look.
So we've had a pretty crazy week here in Boone between the crazy rain on Monday and the cold today. Which one was more exciting, the rain or the cold?
The cold's pretty brutal, man, but that flood 2 days ago, it was pretty bad.
Maybe the cold weather, because my apartment was affected by the rain.
I would definitely say I prefer the cold weather because I at least can bundle up, drink some hot chocolate.
Probably the rain, yeah.
You like the rain?
The rain, yeah. Reminds me of a few Blue's Clues episodes.
I tell myself that I like the winter, but every time it gets to winter, I'm like, nope, I'm not about it anymore.
Welcome to App State.
Yeah.
But what about the amount of rain we had and then the flooding that went along with the rain?
A little, unfortunate for some people, a lot of people, but I've never experienced that, so I thought it was kind of interesting.
So you came out unfazed because you didn't get hurt?
Yeah, pretty much.
The cold, because it's not bad I'm wearing shorts.
That's a bold strategy. There were some pretty crazy videos and stories from Monday with all of the flooding going on. What's the craziest thing you heard about?
The Boone Mall just being absolutely flooded, seeing someone's car float away.
I saw a guy in a tube going down a stream, just flying down, and that was pretty cool. But
We live really behind the mall, so the road in front of us was just blocked off, and was a tree coming down and crosses the road and shit. No one can get away. Yeah.
I saw this little gnome float, a garden gnome, float down in front of me, and I was I wish someone else could see this because it's actually really funny to see this garden gnome float in front of me.
I saw a video of some people who were swimming in a parking lot, so that was my absolute favorite one that I saw. But yeah, all kinds of stuff floating around, literally.
I heard some people that were in a Jeep tried to go in the water, and they were idiots and got themselves stuck, and they got out of the Jeep and they were here at the water. That's just what I heard, though. Sorry if that was you.
Football season is still here, and it's obviously getting colder around here. You guys going to still go to those games? Make sure you're out there in the cold.
Yeah, for sure. Always going to support our teams.
Absolutely, everyone. Go Neers.
That's a good attitude right there. I like that.
I'll be out there, Carhartt handy, but I'm excited.
Absolutely. Right beside her.
Same. Basketball is creeping around the corner. You excited for the basketball season?
I haven't been to any games here yet, so that'll be my first.
It'll be fun. They're going to get some dubs this year.
I'm more of a lacrosse fan, so I'll be more at the club game. Sorry, basketball team.
It's okay. We support you. If you had a dunk contest dunk, what would it be?
I would use a trampoline and like do a backflip. It wouldn't work, but I'd try it.
So basically, part 2 could be filmed this week of the Q&A game weather edition because we had snow on Sunday. It is still October. By the way, we're joined by Meredith Page here on the set now. She's the Marketing Communications Director for Mountaineer Pride. It's a big week for them this week, November 1st. They have applications coming up. But first, Meredith, what is Mountaineer Pride to those who don't know?
Mountaineer Pride is the student football staff that acts as a welcoming committee to families and the recruits on game days.
And on those game days, Meredith, what all are the members of Mountaineer Pride doing?
We take families and the players on tours of the facility, the athletic facility and SoField, and then we take them down to the field to hang out and watch the players get ready for the game.
So this is the entire game day experience. What do the players do? Like, so pregame, they get to go on the field and see kind of what the players do. They get to the locker room, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What do they do during the game?
They get to hang out and enjoy it with their families. So before the game, they meet with the coaches, they get to see the facility, get all the pregame action, and then they get to enjoy it.
So they get to be fans, basically.
They get to be
and
fans.
See what the fan experience is like as a player / could be potential player.
Exactly.
And with applications opening, like Braxton said, how does someone go about applying for a position with Mountaineer Pride?
All of our application links will be on our social media and our Facebook page, so check that out. And we're looking for well-rounded applicants who have a knowledge and passion for football.
So the knowledge and passion of football is important, but what are a few things that you're really looking for in a student that can come help you guys on game day?
Students who can talk. Social skills are really important because we have some shy players that come and their parents, and the parents love to talk. So being able to communicate with them and answer any questions that they have.
So if a student athlete that's coming in to take a tour is shy, I know you've been in this situation before, what do you do to get more out of them?
Well, our games are on Saturday usually, so we always ask about their Friday night football that they played the night before, and that always gets them talking, if they won.
And lastly, what is your day like before getting to any of the football players, like pregame? What are you and the other Mountaineer Pride people having to do to get ready?
So we have office hours in the football office. We go once a week or every other week for about an hour. We help with high school relations, getting the players interested in app and sending them handwritten notes to tell them that we enjoyed having them or we're looking forward to seeing them. And then before the game, we set up all of the stuff for game day and we wait for the recruits to show up.
What kind of experiences could a student working for Mountaineer Pride learn along with their classwork and get them better prepared for a career?
It's a great way to, like I said, be able to communicate with parents and any of the other Mountaineer Pride members and coaches. It's also great for people who are interested in sports marketing or broadcasting or physical education or want to be a PE coach or even a football coach because it helps you kind of get those experiences of working with players, coaches, and prospective players and families.
So how does someone who might be interested in this job find that application and get that process moving?
Well, we have the application posted. It'll be open on November 1st, and once they fill it out, we'll contact them for an interaction and an interview round.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today, Meredith. Loved hearing all about Mountaineer Pride because I do get to see y'all on the sidelines with all these future players.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course.
And coming up, we'll have our Player of the Week segment along with updates from basketball and wrestling. Stay right here on the A Game.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back. This week's Player of the Week goes to senior linebacker Eric Boggs of the football team. Against UMass on Saturday, Eric had 15 tackles, a sack, and an interception. He now has a total of 68 tackles on the season, solo and assisted, and was awarded the Sun Belt's Defensive Player of the Week.
Eric is one of 2 active FBS players with 300-plus tackles, 10 sacks, and 7 interceptions. He is studying physical education here at Appalachian State. And here at the A-Game, we wish you, Eric, good luck on the rest of your season and good luck against UL Monroe this weekend.
This week in App State sports, the women's basketball team will be playing Tusculum in an exhibition game on Tuesday, October 31st in Holmes Convocation Center at 3 p.m.
The women's soccer team is facing #1 ranked South Alabama this Wednesday, November the 1st, in the first round of the 2017 Sun Belt Championship.
The wrestling team has their black and gold match Wednesday, November 1st in Varsity Gym at 6 p.m. They will be traveling to Virginia for the Hokie Open on Sunday, November 5th. It will be another busy week of sports on campus, and of course, the A-Game has you covered. Follow us on social media, just search @the-A-Game Sports.
We can only fit so much in our show each week, and we want to give you everything else going on during the week on Twitter and Facebook. We want to hear from you about how you feel we are doing, so feel free to give us feedback. Until next week, from all of us here at the A-Game, go Apps.